Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. I have with me a very special guest. His name is Lewis. Lewis P. Business. That's his full name. But he goes by Louie or Lou. And he just does not like the internet. He does not like being up here. He does not like when I talk. He hates it when I make noise. So he's going to leave. He's like scared and confused and doesn't know what's going on and hates the lights and wants to leave. And hears a noise and has to go investigate. Go investigate. And if Bobo comes by, we'll grab him too. There he is. I knew he would come by. You get one, the other one usually shows up. Say hello to the people, Bobo. Bobo, the baby bark boy. Here he is. He's here. Very energetic, very silly. Likes to bark. Yeah. Say hi to the people, Bo. Big yawn. There we go. All right. He sleeps on the couch right here. That's his bed right there on the back of the couch. There's a couch here. Anyway, hi. How are you?
Just started, and we get a bork break.
They were nearby when I looked at my clock and had 1 minute left. I was like, you better grab them. And there's Lou, being confused. Doesn't know why he's here. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I hate it though. He's a grumpy old man, which is funny because so am I. But and you can't have two grumpy old men in the same room at the same time. It just makes things complicated. You start getting weird ideas. Things go wrong. So, hi, how's it going? It's Saturday, so it's bright outside. I hate it. I've tried to close well, not too bright. It's a little overcast, but a little bit bright. It's one of those bright overcast days. It's nice. It's not good. So yeah, it's Saturday. I'm going to play a couple of videos for you. We're going to watch a couple of videos of news type stuff, and then we'll talk about it, and I'll pause and interrupt them and then yell at them about how they're wrong all the time. And that will be a stream today. So if you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. If you're in Twitch chat, the lovely lady Robot will read your stuff out loud. She will read it out loud for us. If you're in YouTube chat, I still love you, but no robots. I'm sorry. I tried. I really did try. It just doesn't work. Yeah, that's the thing. FIFA Peace Prize. Did you not hear about that, Valor? Yeah. The FIFA invented a peace prize to give to Donald Trump to make him feel good. They created a participation trophy and gave it to him because he's crazy.
I failed to hear about that X.
Yeah. And it looks bad. I'm going to go back to the start screen so you can look at it. That's it right there. That is the FIFA Peace Prize over there on the left with the hands and the globe. And on the right is a book. Now, what is that book about? It's a Nazi book about how you should hate people. If you look very carefully at that photo, it is a white hand holding the globe up away from all the brown hands that would like to be on the globe, you know? So the strong white man has to keep all the brown people down. That is literally what the book is about. Books make you feel things. That's why you should read them. But that book specifically makes you feel like brown people are less than you and worse and bad and terrible. And all the good thinking, hard working, straight white Christian men had to round up all the bad, evil brown people and put them in a camp. And then those evil, terrible leftists called it the camp of the saints. But the hard right people on the who have common sense look at the camp and see the people inside it are horrible nightmare monster people who eat literal poop, sacrifice their babies, sexually assault each other all day long, and then just want to steal everything from all the hardworking white people. That's what the book is about. And you shouldn't read it. It's bad. But it is right there. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it's about. That's what they do. And it is not a good thing. You shouldn't read it. It is bad. But if you were like a Nazi type and you read it, like Stephen Miller, literally Stephen Miller quotes from this book. He does. Where'd it go? Oops, sorry. Stephen Miller quotes from this book. He does. He likes it. He loves it. He's read it and said, yes. He read this on the subway and then was nodding along. He's like, yeah. So that everyone would know that he agrees with it. And So that directs his policy ideas. That directs his direction for the world. That's what he thinks all we ought to do is harm the people who come here from other cultures, and they're lesser than him. And so we need to be the best. It's a very bad book, and you shouldn't pay attention to it. Anywho, and then when someone pointed out that the cover of the book looks an awful lot like the FIFA Peace Prize, I just had to compare the two. I mean, they do look awfully similar. But yeah, that's the Peace Prize that Donnie got because they created a participation trophy for him. Because he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, they had to invent one. They've never given out a FIFA Peace Prize before. They just gave it to him because they want him to like them. They bribed him with a fake prize, and he loves it. God, he loves it. He is a toddler. He has a child brain. And so you give him a fake prize, and he's excited. He loves it. He talks about how great it is and how wonderful the FIFA organization is. They bribed him with a fake prize. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I love it. I love the toddler king that gets to run the world now. So yeah, that happened. It was sad and it was stupid and it was bad. But we also have breaking news. What are we going to do today? Today we're going to talk about 2 videos, and I'll probably just pause them every few minutes and yell about them and turn them into YouTube videos. But here's the first one. We got him, folks. We did it. We got the Jan 6th bomber. Did they give out other FIFA prizes, or was it just? It's just that one. Just that one. They did the pulls for where other games were going to be, but no other prizes, just that one that I heard about. I don't think that there was any more. And are they ever going to give out the Peace Prize again? Probably not. They'll give it to Donald Trump for the next few years, and then they'll stop giving it out entirely. I suspect anyway. But that's a prediction. Predictions are hard. We got him, folks. We did it. We caught the Jan 6th bomber. Let's listen to Pam Bondi, the Nazi, tell us about how big a deal this is and why it's super important, and you need to respect her because of it.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As you all know now, early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021.
Oh, bipartisanship. Nice. Okay, so he placed it at both.
He has been charged with violating 18 U.S.C. 844, which is use of an explosive device. This investigation is ongoing. As we speak, search warrants are being executed, and there could be more charges to come. I'm going to let our U.S. Attorney discuss that shortly. This was the work of multiple agencies working together. This morning's operation was carried out safely and successfully. We know that there are so many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority.
They made it a priority. It's very important. You need to respect them. These are very important people doing a very important job.
The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies.
No, it didn't.
This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team, along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Now, what is important about this? Is there anything important about this? Sure. It's somewhat important, but not as groundbreaking as she's making it sound. She's yelling and screaming. She's not yelling and screaming. She's trying to throw shade at Biden and saying, you didn't look into this. You didn't find out who this was. You didn't use the FBI properly to find out who this was. We didn't get a new tip. There was no new tip. All we did was sit down and look at the information and measure the things and read the stuff and investigate. They actually did an investigation. How many hundreds of people did this pipe bomber kill? None. How many Capitol Police did this pipe bomber kill? None. How much destruction did he cause? None. How many injuries did he cause? Maybe he didn't kill anybody, but did he injure someone? No. How many bombs did he detonate? None. How many bombs did he set up? New bombs after January 6th? None. That is why they put it on the back burner. That is why they weren't chasing down every lead. They weren't paying attention because, hey, guess what? We had actual criminals, people who were very violent on Jan 6th. I'll show you a few in a minute. You probably remember. You've seen all the footage, and I'm going to play it while this guy talks because it's hypocrisy at the highest level. It's amazing. So let's listen to him talk.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General.
The people on screen got pardons, even though the FBI worked really hard to find out who these people are. The people at the Capitol on Jan 6th attacked the government, and they all got pardons. They all got away with it. Yeah, when you attack the country for Donald, you get a pardon. These people got pardons. The FBI had actual violent people that they needed to find and find out if they were going to continue to hurt the country. Searching for these people was more important than searching for a bomber who gave up and failed. I'm sorry. I'm not telling you that creating pipe bombs and then failing to light them isn't a crime. It still is. But it's less important than the people who were literally banging down the doors, attacking the Capitol Police. And so that's why the FBI put agents on it. They had to track down all these people and then prosecute them. And they did. They found those people. They used everything they could to find those people and then put them on trial. And then they were found guilty. Some of them weren't. Some of them didn't commit any crimes. Some of them weren't enough to just being there, wasn't enough to put you in jail. Some of them, hundreds of them, were found guilty of crimes by a court of law. A jury of their peers put them in jail, and Donald Trump pardoned them because Kash Patel wanted him to. If you do violence for Donald Trump, you get pardons. But let's keep listening to Kash Patel be a piece of shit.
Pam Bondi and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do.
Refused and failed to do. Why, Kash? Because it was less important. But you don't agree with that. You don't like that. You think it was way more important because it might be a leftist that planted those bombs because it was at a Republican place. That's what they wanted here. That's what they're going for. That's the goal they're shooting for. Catch some evil leftist. Guess what? I know this is going to shock you. This is going to surprise the hell out of you. But the guy who did violence on Jan 6th wasn't a leftist. He was closer to libertarian. But here we go. Brian Cole Jr. believed the 2020 election was stolen by Joe Biden. He's a right-winger. Brian Cole Jr., the suspect charged with planting 2 bite bombs near the headquarters of political parties ahead of the January 6th Capitol riot in 2021, told the FBI that he believed the 2020 U.S. presidential election had been stolen, according to reports. CNN and NBC, citing people familiar with the investigation, reported that Cole spent hours giving multiple statements to the FBI, something Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino confirmed during his interview on Fox News on Thursday. The FBI told Newsweek in response to an email that the FBI declines to comment. A suspect was captured on camera on January 5th carrying a large bag, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Cole's arrest, blah, blah, blah. Where was it? What to know? No motive has been cited, but people briefed on the matter told news outlets that Cole believed President Donald Trump when he repeatedly claimed the election had been stolen from him, a claim that had been thoroughly tested through dozens of court cases and ultimately went nowhere due to the lack of evidence. When the president lies to people, they plant pipe bombs. When he tells you that he won and it's a lie, people do violence. Donald Trump is responsible for those bombs. He is responsible. His words led to pipe bombs. He is a liar. He is a criminal, and he should not be allowed to speak into cameras any longer. His words cause violence. And his lackeys, his idiots, his buffoons, his goofs, his goof troop standing up here are going to lie to you again. And they're going to tell you that Biden didn't come after the bad guys. Biden didn't go after the bad guys, you see. This guy was roaming around for the past 4 years, all alone, living the good life. And Biden didn't want to catch him. He was just a pissant. He was unimportant. He was beneath their notice. It didn't matter if they caught him or not. Doesn't matter now, really. He's going to get a couple of years, honestly. If the normal DOJ goes, he would get a couple of years. But this DOJ is going to over-prosecute him and overcharge him, and he's very likely going to get off or get a pardon because he did it for Donald Trump. He's going to write a Q on his hand with a magic marker and tell him he did it for Donnie, and they might pardon him, just like they did all the other Jan 6 people. The words Donald Trump says, the lies he tells, enraged the people, and they attacked our government. That is not okay. That's not good. That's not a thing that needs to be accepted. And I don't accept these right-wing dipshits, Kash Patel, the podcaster, Jeanine Pirro, the drunk wine mom on TV, telling me what is right and wrong anymore. They're liars. They're criminals. They're grifters. They look good on television. They do not have the merit for the jobs that they hold. They don't. Republicans scream about meritocracy all the time, and we're going to talk about it in the next video. These people do not have the merit for the jobs they hold. They look good on TV, and they kiss Trump's ass. Those are the only two qualifications that they need. That's the only two qualifications they have. And we're run by morons who want to make good TV. Kash Patel didn't search for this guy because of the horrific crimes he committed. They searched for him because it would make a good TV show. It would make a good video. It would make a good 60-second clip on TikTok. Because that's what they care about. Looking good on television. Doesn't matter that he never hurt anybody and he never blew anything up and he hadn't done anything since. And it was directly because Donald Trump lied to him. He believed the lies Donald Trump told him. And then he did violence against our country because of it. But they're going to play it up like they're the heroes. Kash Patel feels like he's a hero and needs you to think that he isn't short and he is heroic.
As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal processes with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot.
4 years ago, and he hasn't since. Like, it's not like he's been on a rampage leaving bombs everywhere for the past 4 years. He did it then, and then he stopped. And he probably doesn't even have the equipment anymore. I don't know. Maybe he's surrounded by bomb equipment all the time and just waiting for Donnie's say-so to go and do some more bombings. I don't know. But odds are he was just sitting around at home thinking he got away with it, moved on with his life.
Do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy.
Except right here. Except right here. This they'll allow. Listen to that again. Our FBI won't allow people to be in danger.
Or this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight, when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process as we have committed under this Attorney General.
Being harmed by MAGA voters, by people lied to by the president. And Kash Patel helped pardon them. He helped make this okay. He helped make this okay. This is okay. This is acceptable because of Kash Patel and Donald Trump. Violence in the name of Trump is acceptable. Hypocrisy at the highest level. Do not trust Republicans. You can't. They want this. They like it. You cannot trust them. We cannot let them have power or authority any longer. They will continue to do this forever. They will cause violence and then blame the other team. They will lie to you and blame the other team. They will pardon criminals, which Johnny does all the time, and then tell you that they're saints. They will, good people like Tim Walz will be slandered, and criminals will be lionized, canonized, called heroes, because they're the bad guys. I mean, it doesn't get any fucking simpler than that. Donald Trump is a bad guy. He is surrounded by bad guys. They let loose all the bad guys. They love crime. They love criminals. They love corruption because that gives them power over somebody. Corrupt people are who Donald wants to deal with because he knows how they operate, because he is one himself. And good people, he can't trust them because they have ethics and they have guidelines that they won't cross. Good people have lines they won't cross. That's not true of corrupt, evil, rotten people. They'll do whatever is beneficial to them. Donnie just makes it beneficial to them to be on his side. I think that's all I have to say about this one. But yeah, if you're watching, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Will this guy get a pardon? I don't know. Will this bomber get a pardon? Will he go into court and tell you that he did it because Donald Trump told him to? Will he draw a big Q on his hand and hold it up for the jury? And then all the secret people will know that he's a QAnon super cool guy, and then they'll let him loose. I mean, if I had to go to jail for something that was fake, I would do that. I would pretend that I did it for Donald Trump so I could get away with it. And then I'd come back and apologize. Morally, anyway. Legitimate bomb streak of 2 in one day years ago. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't still active, you know. He got away with it, and I'm not saying that's okay. He still should be tracked down eventually. But if you blame Biden for ignoring that guy while going after these guys, you're all jacked up. Your brain is broken. These guys are clearly, obviously, way more dangerous. They're still, and most of these got off from the crimes that they committed. You know, pay more attention to these guys. They're actually doing stuff than the guy who didn't do anything. So, yeah, that's all of that. So, what else do we have to talk about today? We're going to watch a video. It's bad. Okay, it's real bad. It is going to be the CEO of Palantir. Palantir. Do you
If
know
the
who Palantir
Biden
is?
admin sat on it, how did Patel's team have evidence to sift through?
Well, they didn't do anything with it. They got the evidence. They put everything together. The FBI of Biden put it all together and then said, okay, this is like 7th thing on the list, or this is 1,000th thing on the list. There are 1,000 people who actually attacked the Capitol. Let's find them. And then they search through those things. And if we find all of them and prosecute them and they all go to jail and they all get justice, then when we get to number 1,000, we'll look at this pipe bomber guy who didn't hurt anybody and didn't put any bombs out and didn't blow anything up and didn't kill anybody and hasn't been seen since. That's a low priority, man. It just is. It's just lower priority. So they gathered what they could and then put it to the back burner. They put it aside, put it to the back, and said later. Did they ever get around to it? No. They probably were in searching for more crimes that Donald Trump committed, which he does every day. The pipe bomber did one crime. Donnie commits a crime every day. So it's hard to keep up, you know. He's not putting up the numbers. This pipe bomber didn't put up the numbers, you know. So you got to pay attention to the people who are more harming the country today. Did this guy harm the country and cause some terror? Yes. Should he be punished for it? Yes. A couple of years in jail, honestly. That's what he would get under a normal DOJ. But because this DOJ needs heroic Kash Patel and heroic Pam Bondi to be heroes, they will throw the book at this guy and claim that he is the worst thing since sliced bread. He is the second coming of Hitler himself. And he needs to be in jail for 1 billion years for the millions and billions of people that he could have harmed and tried to harm. And it's societally destroying if he doesn't spend the next 200 years in jail. That's what they're going to do. They're going to tell you that he needs 7 consecutive life sentences. And if he doesn't get them, then Western society will fall apart. And then his defense lawyer will be like, you guys are overcharging him. And then the judge will be like, yep, you sure did. The DOJ overcharged him. And they'll let him loose. They'll let him go. Because the DOJ has to have a brain. They have to operate properly. They have to know what the laws are. They have to know what the rules are. They have to know what's possible. Because a good defense lawyer can get you out of a charge if you're overcharged. And Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are going to overcharge him, and then it's going to get dismissed. And then he's going to walk out, and most people won't hear about it. Fox News won't report that. When he's released from the overcharging, Fox News won't cover it because they don't care. They don't actually care about justice. They care about television. They care about spectacle. They care about the accusations. Accusations are fun. I can accuse him of doing 1,000 things. I just did. I accused him of endangering millions and billions of people. I accused him of removing America's trust in the elections. Do it all day long. I accuse Donald Trump of things all the time. It's very easy. It's very fun. But do all of them hold up in court? No. Sometimes they don't. And if you have a properly functioning court system, you will see that you have to charge people appropriately. You can't charge him for 1 million crimes because he didn't do 1 million crimes. And if he gets out, the Fox News won't cover it. I'll probably mention it, but he'll go on with his life. And Dan Bongino and Kash and Pam Bondi get to continue to be heroes. They will tell you a year from now about how they totally solved the bomber case. And they'll leave out the bit where he got off because they overcharged him. They'll leave that out because they need heroes. They don't need facts. They don't need figures. They don't need actual convictions. They don't need people to have reality. They don't need reality. They need spectacle. They need people to see that they're big damn heroes. Anywho. Yeah, that's that. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'll turn that into a YouTube video, and it'll put it up on the thing. I will be out next week, on Wednesday and Saturday of next week. I've got to go on a trip. Then I'll be out. So I'll put this in. I'll turn this into a YouTube video on like Tuesday or something, and you can watch it, and you can click on it, and you can give it a thumbs up, and you can spread some hatred in the comments section because you should. And then maybe people will watch it. And maybe I'll get some more subs. What am I up to right now? I'm like 375, 374, something like that. At 1,000, they start paying me. So tell your friends, tell your family, come watch the Waldo Show. It's a good time. It's very silly. And I say silly things. And sometimes I wear a funny hat. Then, so yeah, I'll do a stream, I think, on Sunday, this coming Sunday, a week and a day from tomorrow. So a week from tomorrow, I'll do a stream on Sunday, probably. I think I'll be home by then. So that's the plan. Sorry, I won't be here for Wednesday and Saturday. You have to do a whole week without me. I know, awful. I can't live a week without me either. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Let's look at this crazy person. So Palantir. First of all, it's named. Palantir, the company, spies on you constantly. They're reading your thoughts right now. They're reading your phone. They're reading every text you've ever written. They're listening to me right now. Hello, Palantir. I hate you. Please stop spying on everyone in the world. Please stop spying on everyone in the world. It's bad, and I don't like it. So if my stream gets shut off, it's not the heavy wind outside blowing everything around, because it is windy outside, and that does tend to ruin my internet. It's Palantir coming to get us. So Palantir spies on everybody all the time, and they're selling their services to the American government, to the Israeli government, so that they can spy on people and know who to bomb. That's what a lot of people are upset with Palantir about. Palantir uses AI and computers and cameras and drones and wireless signals and metadata to determine who is a terrorist in Palestine. Then the Israeli military bombs that person, kills them. If they're wrong, in the old world, if you bombed someone and you were wrong, you had to pay a price, you got in trouble, you might lose your job, you might lose your military rank, something along those lines, and then you might go to trial for bombing the wrong person. And then maybe The Hague would get involved. The International Criminal Court would be like, hey, this is a war crime. Not anymore. Because they get to blame it on the AI. They get to blame it on Palantir. And then Palantir says, well, the AI data was correct, and you're wrong, in fact. And so nobody gets blamed. If AI takes the blame, people weren't responsible. People are no longer responsible for the death, for the war crimes, for the bombings. AI is responsible. And AI isn't a person. You can't put AI in a jail. So it's okay. Everybody move on. Give it a week, and something else will be in the news for us to talk about and think about. AI cannot be held responsible. So people who want to dodge responsibility are giving it all the decision-making capabilities, giving it all of the responsibility because they don't want it. People don't want responsibility. It's a drag. It's difficult. You have to pay the consequences if you're wrong. You have to study shit and learn things. Gross. Nobody likes learning things. Nobody likes studying stuff. Everybody's a lazy sack of shit, including me, including you. Nobody wants to do any work. Nobody wants to. But we do because we have to sometimes. AI takes a lot of that work away from us. and takes on the responsibility. And then we don't have to do the work. We don't have to be responsible for the bombings. The computer did it. The AI did it. Palantir did it. And all Palantir is asking in return is world domination. That's what they're asking in return for taking all the responsibility, taking all the risk, taking all the stuff. All they need is all the money, all the metadata, all the authority, and all the control. All you have to do is give up everything, and they'll do everything for you. How could that go wrong? How could anybody be upset with that? Am I being fair? No. Let's listen to the CEO of Palantir tweak the fuck out. He is on some drugs. He is on some drugs. This is not important. Let's get into the thing. Let's go.
After October 7th, Karp has been perhaps singularly the most outspoken CEO in America to support Israel. Week after the attack, he took out a full-page ad in this newspaper, the New York Times, had 4 words on it. It said, Palantir stands with Israel. Should say the IDF and Mossad are clients of Palantir.
They are using his AI to choose who to murder.
But there are a lot of questions about what they are doing here in the U.S., including their contract with ICE and their work around the world, and we are going to talk about all of it. Alex, thank you for being with us.
And they're working with ICE to use their metadata on everybody's phones to determine who ICE ought to arrest.
With us.
Couldn't imagine why we're controversial. Couldn't imagine.
Let's discuss this, because I think, and I mean this.
By the way, I see that as we're on the side of. I mean, you know, when you support allies, in Israel, which I guess typically is the most controversial in public. Honestly, interestingly, often the least controversial in private.
The hell does that mean? Least controversial in private? Like, where does he hang out where people are like complaining about Israel in public and then privately being like, they got to do it. Everything they're doing is right. And I can't say that. I'm not allowed to say that. Boss, America works for Israel. We really do. We have done everything we can. We've bent over backwards. Everyone in the Democratic Party does everything they can to help Israel. Everyone in the Republican Party does everything they can to help Israel. It's blatantly obvious. It's the private conversations where people are like, hey, I wish they'd quit doing that. Hey, I wish they'd quit bombing innocent people. Hey, I wish they'd quit killing innocent babies. It makes it really hard for me to publicly support them and give them more weapons and more money. Israel first is the American motto, yes. But I don't know what planet he lives on where it's the opposite. He lives on a different planet where it's flipped, apparently. Let's keep going.
It's like, it doesn't actually, and I do support all those things, it doesn't actually mean that you support every decision. It means you support them having a superior position to their adversaries. I mean, that really starts with America, which is, you know, I think one of the real problems that, you know, the non-controversial companies have is they can't admit what they think in private, which is they believe what they're doing is better and superior to what other people are doing.
I want to get into all of that, but I'll tell you where.
It's got some weird ethno-nationalism to it, doesn't it? Like, hey, we're a company in America. We're an American company. We make, I don't know, cookies or something. And we totally know that we're better than everyone in the Middle East. Okay. And we're not allowed to say it. Is that what he's getting? Is that what he's getting towards? Secret nationalism? I don't know what he's going on about there, but he is high on some sort of drug, and you'll see it in a few minutes.
Where I want to start.
As it kicks in.
I want to start with this. You wrote a book last year called The Technological Republic, and you quote Samuel Huntington in it, and that argues the following, argues that the rise of the West was not made possible, quote, by the superiority of its ideas or values or religion, but rather by its superiority in applying organized violence.
And I kind of agree with the guy he's quoting there. We didn't get to where we are because of our great ideas. It was a combination of the great ideas and the violence. Companies are people, after all, so this by definition racism. Yeah, you're right, Valor. You're absolutely right. Companies are people, and they are white nationalists, according to Mr. Karp here.
What did you mean by that? And is that what Palantir ultimately does?
Well, I think one of the most interesting about the quotes, that quote is it's indisputably and obviously true. And
you genuinely believe that the U.S., this idea of ideas, values, religion has nothing to do with it? You think it really is about organizing violence?
No.
I think it's 50-50. It's both. It's both at the same time. One, democracy is a good idea and it makes people feel good. And we will fight to protect it. And we will kill you if you cross us. It makes for a very powerful country.
Sorry, I didn't say that our ideas aren't important. Obviously, I come from an academic family, and I was planning to be an academic before I realized it was worthless and I'd be better at building things. But
we should talk about that too.
But
academic, but it would be worthless. Learning things and becoming more intelligent and building a foundation of knowledge that someone else can stand on. That's worthless. Christ almighty, he's a fucking dipshit.
But okay,
he's standing on the shoulders of giants. He's standing on the shoulders of all the people who built the internet, who came before him.
One of the biggest problems we have in our elite institutions, especially our Ivy Leagues, is this indisputable truth that no one would listen to the superiority of our ideas if our ability to organize in violence was inferior. That every single person in the world believes, outside of the faculty of Harvard, and certainly all of our adversaries know to be true, is viewed as something that's kind of worthy of great discussion and dispute. And the primary reason they dispute it, honestly, is because at their core, they want to undermine the superiority of Western values, which are meritocracy, rule of law, accepting that inputs and outputs are not the same, that are the basis of building the superiority on the military plane.
The superiority of the military. He's going on about meritocracy. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But he's complaining. It is rather disjointed and hard to follow what the fuck he's talking about. But he's saying that Harvard wants us to be smarter and less violent. And he hates that. He does not like that at all. Yeah, Eastern cultures have no law. They don't even know what that word means. They've never heard the word law. They don't know what rules are. What he's saying is that he's complaining, he's decrying, he's whining that the people in Harvard, I don't work there, but I feel like I know what's going on most of the time. Yeah, he's hard to follow because he's also high on drugs. You'll see him bopping around here in a few minutes as the uppers really kick in. He is complaining that the educated people are suggesting we stop doing all this 17th century land war. Hey, we have diplomacy now. We have technology. We have airplanes. If there's something wrong with the world, instead of invading someone and stealing all their stuff, why don't we just make them customers? Why don't we just be friends with them? Why don't we help them with their problems and they can help us with ours and we can all get along? And he's like, no, military might makes right. That is what he's telling you. Military might makes right. Oops, wrong button. Let's continue listening.
You think that the university culture is trying to undermine that?
Well, I think it's moved from the 50s where it was trying to explain why our Constitution is the best way to organize our lives, not others, why meritocracy is necessary, even if it means letting in immigrants to your institution, why inputs and outputs aren't the same, why the First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendment are unique, and why it was worth standing up for these values, has literally been transformed, especially in the humanities departments too. Of course, none of that could work because no one like us is good at doing that, basically.
I have no idea what the fuck he's on about.
That's like...
These
and
people
therefore,
lose credibility when they make statements like mainstream academia.
Right. Anybody who unironically says mainstream academia should not be listened to.
Work. And downstream of that is enormous dysfunction. And you see this in all sorts of issues. Our primary and most important adversary, I say adversary consciously and not enemy, is China. And we will decide AI and the ability to implement it on the battlefield primarily will decide the values, i.e., the norms, the laws, and the spirit of the laws that are imposed upon us across the globe. And if you think for a minute,
the military against China with the American military plus AI versus China will determine the laws, the rules, the culture of the future. This man is a fucking war hawk. He is talking about global fucking war. How is adversary different than enemy? Because maybe you could talk them into not doing a thing. Because he thinks that China's doing exactly the same thing right now. He thinks China is in a rush to develop AI so that they can militarily crush the United States. He wants the United States to be in a rush to put together AI so that we can militarily crush China. He is worried because he is a white nationalist racist, and he may not have always been that way, but he is at this moment a America First racist. He assumes that the people in China are China First racists. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's wrong. I don't know any Chinese people. But can we not get along? The people at Harvard are saying, let's work together to make AI replace all the shit jobs and give people more time, more life, more pleasure, more freedom. And he's like, no, you idiots, you buffoons, you mainstream academia. We need to create the war AI to crush our enemies. If you want peace, you must prepare for war. That is what he's telling you. If we want world peace, we must own the AI, and it must crush and destroy all of our enemies. If they get the AI first, they will use it to crush us. That is what he is telling you. He is a warmonger. He is a nightmare. And I wish he weren't in charge of one of the biggest, most powerful fucking companies in the world and doing lots and lots of deals with the American and Israeli government right now to kill people. War is coming, and it will be on his, it will be from him. It will be from his company. His company will lead the way to the next world war. And he's upset when people tell him that. That's why he's pissing and moaning and bitching and crying about all the Harvard elites telling him that.
They believe anything that we're being taught in our idiotic faculty. You are even more idiotic than the professors teaching it. And I'll tell you, if you actually believe in these values, again, I'm not a neocon, I never was. That's why I'm skeptical of immigration, because I don't think all this cultural assimilation hasn't worked in the last 50 years, and that's
cultural assimilation doesn't work.
It's an obvious truth you're also not allowed to say. I'm skeptical of imposing values on other people. I never believed we should or try to make the Arab Middle East, Wilsonian people, like a Wilsonian ideal imposed upon them.
And he's insane, but what he's suggesting is that you can't force people into democracy at the barrel of a gun. And I think he's right. But why the fuck is he pushing? Well, he's a warmonger who doesn't want to use that war to force democracy. He wants that war to destroy the enemy. Do not let them have anything. Keep them on their side. Put them in their place. Do not let them have the AI. We need AI to enforce all the borders, to make sure China stays in China and doesn't come across and doesn't do global imperialism. We are the global imperialists. We do all the imperial stuff, not them. We need to be number one, and we will use AI in war to make sure that we are. Oops. I keep hitting the wrong buttons today. Hit the wrong button again. There, go.
If you believe for a second that anyone else outside this country believes that we are going to defend our values without superiority and moral violence, you're just living in a world that doesn't exist. It does not exist, and no matter how much you try to impose it on the rest of us, it still won't exist.
Okay, I want to talk about...
It could, if we tried. Yes, violence can force people into new shapes and into new ideologies. But there is something else that could work. Something that could bring people to you. Material conditions. This is Marxism. Make the lives for the normal people better. Improve the lives of the poor, and they will come to you. They won't fight you. If we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, making their lives better, giving them purchasing power, creating social services, creating a healthcare system, giving their people child care, giving them a reliable government, we would not get violence from them. If we gave them that, they would not be suicide bombing us. But we don't do that. We bomb them until they accept our version of democracy. We bomb them when they commit crimes, when they do anything wrong, when they try to organize to resist us. We bomb them. Increase the material conditions of these people, and they will stop doing suicide bombs. It's insane. But he doesn't accept that. He says, no, we need Palantir to wiggle its way through every device, every idea, every piece of digital data to find out who to bomb, who to use our military might against. This one guy texted his plan to do a violence against an American soldier in Afghanistan, and he wants Palantir to see that, recognize it, comprehend it, give that to American troops so that they can kill him before he does the violence. And that is and then eventually, when they've finally been bombed out of fighting, when they've given up on fighting because of all the horrible stuff that we've done to them, they can just live on their own, in their own way, whatever way they want. That's what he wants. He wants ethno-states and very solid lines of demarcation between the countries that nobody crosses. But let's continue.
You for a second and your own politics and your shift in politics. By the way, there's a piece in the Washington Post about you this morning that gets into some of this. You grew up
only because I have great respect for you. I don't interrupt you immediately. I didn't shift my politics. The political parties have shifted.
Yeah, absolutely, Valor. He also said that you're dumber than the professor who taught you because you believe him. Yeah, that's backwards, and the professor is the one responsible for the reliability of the information shared. And the student is just an open and dry sponge trying to soak in, hopefully, questions. Yeah, he hates those people because they have told him, hey, if we make their lives better, we don't have to bomb them anymore. But he wants to bomb them. He wants violence. He wants American military might to harm the people he doesn't like. And when someone suggests, hey, can't we do something better, more peaceful, he gets all pissy and screams about how they're stupid and they're the academic elite who disagree with him.
Shifted their politics. The idea that what's being called progressive is in any way progressive is a complete farce.
He doesn't know what progressivism is. He's moved to the other side of the wall being the haves and the have-nots. He's a have now. Maybe in the past he was a have-not. Maybe he grew up poor, but he's on the other side of the wall now. He's on the side of the wall with all the power and the authority and the money and the resources and the giant houses and the fantastic cars and the stock options. He's on that side. You and me, we're on the working side. Okay? And he's now changed his tune because he's on that side of the wall, so everything looks different.
I've been progressive since the beginning of Palantir. I'm continuing to be progressive. I grew up in a highly intellectual, mostly Jewish, incredibly left-wing environment. And every Saturday and every Friday, I heard a lecture about how the conservatives are going to destroy this country with illegal immigration because it's going to undermine the fabric of the American worker.
The conservatives are going to ruin the working class because of all the immigrants they bring in. What? The conservatives are going to bring in all the immigrants and ruin the labor market. Boss, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's insane. So there is a difficulty here. The investors wanted the immigration. The investors, the capital class, the very people with all the monies, they wanted that. They wanted the big immigration so that they could so they could pay their workers less. Conservatism is usually a 50-50 mix of capitalism and white nationalism. Okay. Sometimes that percentage shifts between 60-40 and 40-60, depending on the mood of the people in the party, how white nationalist they're feeling at the moment, and the investor class, which has all the money and the authority and the power and tells them what to think. Sometimes the investor class takes over. You get your neocons, you get your Mitt Romneys, you get your George W. Bushes, who use the idiots, the rubes, the white trash, to vote for them while making money for themselves. Then sometimes that shifts over to a Donald Trump, a fake populist who talks about the people, talks about how immigration is ruining our lives and the big companies are doing the immigration. So he's not conflating conservatism right. He's not looking at conservatism right. He said conservatives did all the thing, brought in all the immigration. No, it was the companies who aren't really conservative. They just want to make money. So let's keep going. It's a bit of a mess. He's a mess.
That was 50 years ago. That's what it means to be a progressive. And being a progressive doesn't mean just, it feels so good to be involved in dysfunction, things that can never work, a form of socialism that's never worked, having no meritocracy. That's not progressive.
He doesn't know what progressive is. Progress is the root word for progressive. Do what works. Look toward tomorrow. Do what's good for tomorrow. What's good for tomorrow isn't rounding up 20 million innocent people and kicking them out of the country. That's not good for tomorrow. That's not progress. That's going backwards. That's going back towards nation states. I don't like that. I don't like closed borders with walls in between them. That is the past, not the future. Yeah, this fucking guy. Hi, Malachi. Thanks for coming. And he says no meritocracy. That's insane. The left is the only people pushing meritocracy. No progressive, no leftist is calling for the end of meritocracy. They're the only ones who want it. They are trying to detach your race away from the meritocracy, or your ethnicity away from the meritocracy, your sexuality away from the meritocracy. When conservatives say meritocracy, and they do say it a lot, they mean special privileges for straight white men. That's what they mean. When a black man works really hard to get a law degree, works in politics, becomes a professor at Harvard, and then stands on all those merits to win a presidential election, the conservatives call him a DEI president who didn't earn his spot and only got elected because of his skin color. The Republicans and the conservatives do not want a meritocracy. They want special privileges for themselves and their white constituency. That's what they want, but they call it meritocracy because they lie about all of their, they lie about their motives every time. Remember during the LA fires, we found out that the fire chief was a lesbian lady with a short haircut, and they freaked out. All the conservatives were screaming, DEI, DEI, DEI. It doesn't matter. They didn't look at her merit. They didn't find out where she went to college. They didn't find out what training she did to become the head of the Los Angeles Fire Department. They saw a lady and screamed because she can't possibly have as much merit as a straight white man. She can't. It's impossible in their brains, in their broken conservative brains. Black people can't have as much merit as a straight white man. They can't comprehend it. A boat hit a bridge in Maryland. And then a black mayor was on TV and they screamed, DEI mayor, DEI mayor, DEI mayor. Because they cannot fathom the idea that someone who isn't straight white man can accomplish anything because they're racist. And they vote for the racist president. And this fucking guy. Let's continue listening to what he has to say poorly and badly.
That's honestly cowardly. And most people, half my old party knows it. They don't speak up. It's bullshit. It will never work. And it does not help. You know, the biggest problem with that is it's not helping the poor people that they claim to hurt. If you think that's helping a black person in the inner city, you're ridiculous. The last thing anyone in this country needs is a dysfunctional educational system and handouts that have never worked and are not going to work.
Okay. The education system is the same argument. The old rich white people only want their children to get the education. They want their children to be the only ones that can afford college. And that creates a two-tiered society. Dismantling those walls is progressivism. And he doesn't like it because he's on the other side of the wall now. Maybe he wasn't born on that side of the wall, but he is now. He's the CEO of a giant fucking tech company, billionaire CEO. He is on the side of the wall with the money, the power, the authority, the resources, and he is pissing and crying because we want that wall torn down.
Let me ask you, though, because I know you say you didn't shift your view, but I do want to read you something that appears as if you shifted your view. This is back in 2017 about Trump. You said, quote, "I respect nothing about the dude. It would be hard to make up someone I find less appealing."
You know, there's a lot of things that are quoted about me that were like not quoted in public. Like in this book, that, you know, my biography, there's tons and tons of quotes. I'll give you a different version of this. A lot of these you're not really doing this, and we've been at this for almost a decade.
He's just
and he was
jibber-jabber.
kind enough to interview me when I was a complete clown and joked to everyone else besides me and our motley crew of Palantir. And I greatly...
Now he's on the other side of the wall. Now he has money. Now he has power. Now he has authority. It's wild to say, honestly, like even if their rhetoric were true, black people get preferential treatment in college that would benefit black people. I know he doesn't recognize that being fair is a step up from what they had. He doesn't know that. He thinks they were here and we brought them up to fairness. We still haven't, but we're trying to bring them up to fair from the position of the privileged. That seems like the privileged people are losing something. And that's what he's talking about. He's crying that white people are being harmed when everyone else gets treated the same.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
One of the biggest lessons, and just a slight detour to the wonderful and very important country of Germany that is seeming to be crashing its German functionality and competence into a plane, into the ground of political correctness that it somehow can't escape for historical reasons.
What is he on, man? You can see the drugs kicking in. They're kicking in. They're kicking in. They're kicking in. He took them about 15 minutes before he went on stage. Now they're cooking.
The minute you judge somebody by anything but the issues you agree with. So in Germany, the Green Party and the Socialists have convinced the majority party they can never vote with the far right on immigration.
Because the far right on immigration in Germany are Nazis. You can't give them an inch. They will take a mile. You can't give intolerance a single step. You cannot step towards intolerance even once. Never once. Because they will take it and they will run with it and they will drag you towards intolerance again and again and again. That is why the Green and the liberals say do not ever vote for the right, even on immigration, because the people on the right are Nazis.
I care about two issues.
Okay.
I care about immigration and reestablishing the deterrent capacity of America without being a colonialist neocon view.
Impossible. He cares about immigration, so blood and soil, and then he cares about the American military might to force people out of our area and give us what we want at the barrel of a gun, but in a nice, polite way, you know?
And on those two issues, this president has performed. And those are the two issues I care about.
So what were the issues that you didn't agree with? And when you said he was not an appealing dude before,
Well,
what was that?
First of all, you're quoting somebody who's quoting me off the record that's in the public record. I care about two issues. I am not going to be proxy corralled into having no power by something of like, well, I care about these two issues. By the way, I was a supporter of the Democratic Party. What two issues did the Democratic Party not perform on? Does anyone think the Democratic Party performed on migration or deterrence? That's crazy.
I want them to open migration. I want open borders. I do. I want them to vet the people, find out who they are, put them in the system, give them a pathway to citizenship. Yes, literally, yes. And they haven't done that. And that's why I'm upset with them from the left. He's upset with them from the right because he believes Fox News when they tell him that Joe Biden opened the borders and let everybody in. It's nonsense. Caravans after caravans after caravans. They were never real. They're still coming, apparently. If they need a caravan to come, they'll invent one. It was always horseshit, and he bought it. He believed it. It was always nonsense.
Now, you could care about different issues. I'm pro-choice. It's not my number one issue. I'm wildly pro-gay rights. It's not my number one issue. The minute you allow yourself to be corralled into, I disagree with this person, I disagree, you've basically transferred your power to one party.
Okay, he's refusing to vote for somebody based on something that isn't his number one issue. And he won't vote for the Dems because they don't have his number one issue in mind. And if you do that, then you've given away your power. So he's going to give all his power to the Republican Party. The fuck is he talking about? Him saying that he doesn't make him look good, just makes Dems look bad, and it could fit in the party at all. Yeah, exactly. Like he's saying, don't give them your vote because they agree with you. Give your vote to the people that agree with you. Insane. All right.
Palantir and I am not transferring my power and our influence, which honestly, the mainstream media at the Washington Post and at the New York Times doesn't always like me. That's great, because you know who does like me? About 10 million people, primarily dudes in this country. And
dudes in this country. It's coming. Here comes the white nationalism.
What? I'm going to use my whole influence to make sure this country stays skeptical on migration and has a deterrent capacity that it only uses selectively.
Okay, let me ask.
Skeptical on migration, which means no brown people, and deterrent. So violence towards everyone that isn't American. Violence towards anything that benefits America. If blowing up Venezuela benefits America, he's on board for it.
Ask you this, and this goes to maybe, I don't know if it has to do with just being a blunt instrument, compassion, what have you. I think you could argue, in terms of immigration policy, that you don't want to have illegal immigrants in the country, or you want to prevent illegal immigrants from coming into the country, et cetera. We are now seeing ICE working its way around the country, and oftentimes folks ripping people off the streets with masks on. You and Palantir are working hand in hand with ICE. That's public. What do you make of that? What do you make of it's not necessarily the policy, but the approach to the policy?
Let me give you my critique of what I would call, I think this questioning is proxy culpable of.
Proxy culpable.
Our country has selective empathy for everybody but working class, particularly white males.
Fucking Christ almighty, dude. Listen to him. Hear that again. Here it comes.
This questioning is proxy culpable of. Our country has selective empathy for everybody but working class, particularly white males.
Empathy. Selective for everybody except straight white males. Nonsense. Insanity. Horse shit. Idiotic nonsense. Working class white males ran the country for 200 years, and they made it so that no one else could get ahead. They enslaved, they segregated, they redlined. They hired only white men. They made the laws harm the immigrants. They made the laws harm the outsiders. No one else could get a shot for 200 years, you moron. Nobody else got a shot. Nobody else got fair treatment. They were anti-meritocracy. That is the opposite of a meritocracy. And when some people have suggested, hey, let's even it out, he cries and screams and pisses and whines. Let me answer the question with a proxy that affirm my white supremacist beliefs. Yeah, as without talking about the authoritarianism. Yeah, exactly. He's in favor of authoritarianism run by straight white men, and whatever they do is called meritocracy. Whatever choice they make is right and correct and proper, because America is a straight white country, obviously. But let's keep listening.
So when you look at coverage in mainstream newspapers about the constitutionality of blowing up boats that are bringing fentanyl here,
the boats aren't bringing fentanyl. You lying shit sack. You lying piece of shit. The boats, if they even are bringing drugs, are bringing cocaine, not fentanyl. He is factually incorrect. He is wildly uninformed in this situation, on this topic, and he gets to be the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world telling the American people what to do, telling the American military what to do and who to bomb. And he is telling you incorrect facts right now. The boats coming from Venezuela, if they are carrying drugs, we assume that they are, and it's an okay bet. If they are flying full speed north, they're not fishing. Fishing usually, yes, you sit around and you put lines in the water and you move slowly, okay? And you have fishing gear on board. The boats they're bombing probably are drug dealers, drug runners. They're not doing fentanyl. They're doing cocaine. So they're bringing cocaine, not fentanyl. So he's literally wrong. Fentanyl comes from Mexico. I've said it before, but the chemicals come from China. They're bought by Mexican people and Mexican companies. They do complicated alchemy. They draw a symbol on the ground. They put some weird Latin words and some complicated math symbols and mathematical formulas inside the circles. Then they put their hands on it. It glows brightly, and it turns that chemical into what's the name of the drug? The fentanyl. It turns it into fentanyl, and then they sneak it across. And then Americans go to Mexico, pick up the fentanyl, are paid to bring it into America. That's how fentanyl gets here, not on Venezuelan boats. He's wrong. But he gets to be a billionaire, so it's fine.
I guarantee you, if that fentanyl was killing people at schools we went to, potentially your kids are going to, it would be constitutional to blow up those boats. There is
It's not constitutional to blow up those boats. We don't change what the Constitution says after the fact to make us feel better. But he thinks it does. He doesn't know what the Constitution is or does. He thinks it changes based on his feelings. If he feels like those boats are killing people that are near him, then it's constitutional to murder the boats. No, it's not. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Collective instrumental use of empathy that somehow is only applied at the point where it would help
back to the
us.
idea of, what about
sorry, you asked the question, you're going to get the full answer you don't want. The full answer you don't want. You brought me on stage. You know
the answer is white nationalism.
Okay.
That's what
it's and by the way, I'm on stage, and I know a lot of the people on stage sponsoring this are skeptical of me. You know why? I'm on stage
because you're a
here
lunatic
because
on drugs?
At Palantir, and I would encourage you to think of this. I divide the world into Palantir, essentially, in Palantir derangement syndrome, Palantir skeptics, and Palantir haters. My biggest fans started off as Palantir skeptics and Palantir haters. I believe that someday almost everyone in this audience is going to agree with me. You may not like
and you're gonna like him, and you're gonna agree with him, or else he's going to use the military to harm you.
me now, but you're going to agree later. I'll also tell you something. Look to the left, look to the right. The person you think is offended by this actually agrees with me. That is 100% true.
He's right. There are lots of secret people who appreciate authoritarianism. There are lots of secret Nazis who hate people of a different ethnicity. They hide that. They put on a mask of normal human interaction and secretly, deep down in their hearts, want an authoritarian. And he's talking about how great that is. That he's talking about how they secretly want these things, and he's right. Because he listens in on all their texts. Because Palantir listens in on their secret talks on their phones. Palantir scrapes all the metadata and knows how many racists there are in the world, and there's a lot of them.
Okay, well, okay, sorry. And yeah, it's 100% true. And keep that in mind. I'll tell you a secret.
Oh, I never forget. Don't worry.
I hope the New York Times and the Washington Post doesn't listen to. Okay, sorry.
But wait,
I
just want to bring us back
There's
to
the drugs.
this one
There they
issue, which is, you talked about the rule of law, and you talked about things being constitutional. And so here we're talking about these boats, for example, that were blown up, right? And whether you have empathy for them or not, given the folks who are getting killed by fentanyl, the question is whether this is being done on a constitutional basis and being done in the right way. Well, and if it's not being done in the right way, how do you feel about that?
It's unlawful.
But part of the reason why I like this questioning is the more constitutional you want to make it, the more precise you want to make it, the more you're going to need my product. So you keep pushing on making it constitutional. I'm totally supportive of that. You know, a constitutional, you would need to understand where the things are going.
Nobody before Palantir even knew what the Constitution said. Obviously, no one could possibly know what the Constitution is or how to operate before Palantir. How could you possibly understand? How could you know what it says if the AI didn't tell you what it says? Nobody could do this. He doesn't understand anything, and so he assumes that you don't either. We see this with Donald Trump all the time. He doesn't know a thing, so he assumes no one else knew it. The question is whether it's political theater and they're actually killing civilians. That's the question. That's one of the questions. There's lots of questions. Are they actually carrying drugs? Some of the circumstantial evidence suggests that they are. They're coming from a place that has historically loaded boats with drugs and gone north to drop them off. They don't have any fishing gear on board. You can look at that from the spy plane and be like, hey, they're not fishing. They're moving north at max speed, full speed north, nonstop. They're not fishing. They don't have any fishing gear on board. Fishing gear, don't know if you've ever seen it, has a look to it. Nets, poles, lines, that kind of shit. You can tell who's a fisherman, who's not from an aerial view. Great. Now, the right thing to do is to stop them, check, find the drugs, put them on trial, send them back home. That's the right thing to do. That's the constitutional thing to do. But we're not doing that. We're blowing them up. We're exploiting them. We're murdering them in a war crime. War crimes. Secretary Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War Crimes, is doing war crimes. I mean, they changed the name to Secretary of War so that we would know he's going to murder a bunch of people. He's going to kill a bunch of people, do a bunch of war crimes. I'm glad they changed the name. And when he's gone, we can change it back. But yeah, that's the thing. And he's telling you, this CEO of Palantir is he's moving the conversation away from politics back to his product that you need to pay him for. And you need to give him all your money, and you need to give him all your metadata so that he can sell that metadata as he sees fit, so that you will know who is a terrorist and who isn't. He needs you to give him all the money so that he can read their metadata and tell you, yes, they are terrorists. Yes, we have their phone records. Yes, we have their phone messages from cartel members to them, telling them, and here's the text. You can read it. It says, move this cocaine into America. And that's what he's telling you. He's telling you can't know the truth. You can't possibly know if anything is constitutional. You can't know if anything is correct without me.
How are they going? Under what conditions? Where do they belong?
But I'm asking you just as a person, on a sort of a moral basis, as a human, when you see people, young people, mothers and fathers and families getting ripped apart with the masks on, with the ICE folks, what you think of that?
Of course, but at this point you're abusing empathy, because
abusing empathy. Stop hurting innocent people, says the reporter, and this guy says you're abusing empathy.
Of course, don't like that.
Right.
No one likes that. No American. This is the
Then
fairest,
stop
least bigoted, most open-minded
Stop
culture
doing
in the
it.
world. Okay,
but if you don't like it, shouldn't you say, hey, government?
You're going to let me finish?
Please.
Okay, so in this country, you have 1% of the country in prison, 1% who were in prison and therefore have no rights. Do you know what happens to you when you go to prison? They take you away from your kids. You know who that happens to? Disproportionately working class, disproportionately black and Hispanic men and white men in the underclass. Where are the thousands of articles about them?
They're in the Washington Post. They're in the left. They're on the progressive side. It's the progressives that tell you to stop splitting up the families over a dime bag of weed. It's the progressive and the left that are telling you most of the people in jail are there because of drug charges, and the drug war was a gigantic failure. It's not the people on the right, boss. It's not the billionaires that you hang around with. The billionaires in the right wing want more drug crimes. They want to recriminalize all of the drugs. They want to put more stuff on that list. They want to illegalize the weed so that more people go to jail. It's the left, it's the progressives that you seem to hate and dislike and are pissed off at, Mr. Karp, that want the drug charges to be lessened, to be decriminalized and legalized so that we can stop what you're talking about. The thing that you're complaining about has a solution on the left. But on the right, it will only get worse. And you're going to piss and moan about the progressives next.
Nobody cares, and they don't care because it does not either serve the ability, the desire to force me to vote for one party, which basically takes away all my power. That's effectually what it does. If I agree to say this is the worst thing in the world, I essentially have given up my vote. My vote is...
The minute you give up your vote, you've given up your vote. You can't pick and choose which parts you like and which parts you don't like and put only in those policies. It doesn't work that way, boss. He has no idea what he's talking about.
It's not for you. My vote is for these two issues. The second
vote is for these two issues. And when you vote for Republican on those two issues, you get all the rest of the Republican issues brought along with it. You moron, you buffoon. What is he talking about? When you vote for a Republican because of immigration issues, you get Republican gay marriage brought along with it, whether you like it or not. And he's telling you that he won't vote for the Democrats because they're bad on immigration. He will vote for the Republicans because they're good on immigration. And if you vote for the Democrats, you're giving up your vote. I don't fucking understand what this guy's on about. He's insane. He's literally incomprehensible.
The second reason they don't care is because somehow no one has empathy with any of those people because none of us really deal with those people. At Palantir,
the left has empathy for those people. They want to change the laws to make it where they don't go to jail for a dime bag of weed.
We are on the side of working class Americans. We support people who go to the military. We save their lives. We bring them home safer. Our AI actually makes workers more wealthy, more valuable. And the 10 to 15 million people that love me despite what's written.
Your AI will reduce the amount of work that they can do. The companies will fire them. AI is going to kill us and take all of our jobs. Well, it's going to take all of our jobs, and then it's going to kill us.
Half of them made a lot of money on us. And you know what they're like? They're like people like me who think, you know what? We have to do better. Of course we have to do better.
What do you say to this then? Take me out of it, take the media out of it. There's a group of 13 former Palantir employees who wrote an open letter to you, and they stated, quote, that Palantir's leadership has abandoned its founding ideals.
We have 5,000 ex-Palantirians and 4,000 current Palantirians. And by the way,
that's a bad turnover, boss. You shouldn't be proud of that. We have 5,000 people who used to work for us and 4,000 who do. What? Then people come in and then leave because you suck and you're bad and you're evil and you're doing things wrong? That's what you're telling me.
We encourage a culture of disagreement, which you know exists. Anyone can come visit us. You'll find half the people disagreeing with me, at least on any issue. But I just want to say,
and then they either leave or you fire them.
5,000 ex-Palantirians, you have 13, half of whom were like in the humanities department of Palantir, which is a little bit like being in the printing press part of New York Times, a very important part, but no one's really listening to your opinion. So,
the humanities. Who could possibly listen to somebody talk about civil rights when you're running an AI company? Who would care about that as you give the military the tools to bomb human beings?
It's like...
Nobody needs that shit.
Yeah. You know, if you have an organization, I'll tell you what, a lot of Palantirians are mostly uncomfortable. Most Palantirians are like you. I don't know who you are because you're an objective journalist. But they broadly are okay with, they like the work we do in Ukraine. By the way, could Europeans finally stick up for us since we're basically between us and Russia? But they're...
So you've chosen one side. That's fine. I have too. Ukraine is the correct side. If Russia were paying you, would you work for them too? I think the answer is yes. I think he would. And if his AI is valuable to military people, I don't trust him to run it. What if the side I'm on doesn't pay as much as the side I'm against? Then I'll have to fight against him and his AI.
Very proud of that in general, although that's also very controversial in non-elite circles. That's important to remember. They're pretty okay with Israel stuff, especially since a lot of the BS written about us on the right, primarily, not primarily on the left, that somehow we're doing facial recognition stuff and we're building a database. Any technical person knows that's BS. By the way, if you've
They are definitely doing that. They definitely want to do that, and they're definitely trying.
heard that and you believe that, listen to the person who told you that. Do 10 minutes of research, and you'll see who has credibility for you.
Speak to that directly, though, because people talk about surveillance. They immediately say surveillance, Palantir, that you are helping the U.S. government in a massive surveillance program, given the amount of data that's coming in from all sorts of different agencies now.
First thing, before I will absolutely get to that, the biggest misconception about Palantir is none of this. Palantir is an absolute dominant juggernaut in U.S. commercial and AI. Our revenue grew 121%. The most important metric in enterprise software, we have the highest number ever recorded. It's well over 2x any number that would be highly respectable. So we're like the Michael Jordan on the numbers in U.S. commercial.
I hate that. Thank you.
And that really pisses a lot of people off.
Yes,
that's
because
true. Most of our money,
kills.
75% of our revenue comes from America. That's growing 77%. And most of our market cap comes from that. So,
And if Russia were giving you that money, would you give them your AI to shoot at Ukrainians? I think he would. I don't like that. That's why we're upset that these giant corporations have this technology. This happened during Ukraine, too, with Elon and Starlink. Elon gives Starlink to Ukraine. Great. But when they tried to go into the Crimean Peninsula, when Ukraine tried to take Crimea from Russia, Elon said, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't do that. I choose when you get Starlink, and I choose you don't get to use it on this military campaign, but you can use it on this other military campaign. Elon is making military decisions for a foreign country. That's insane. That shouldn't happen. When this Palantir guy says, I will help you, Ukraine, but if you go past this one line, I won't help you any longer. And if Russia pays them, he'll help both sides. This isn't good. He's a weapons dealer. He's a merchant of death. He's selling weapons. At the moment, he's only selling it to America and one of our allies. What if the money's too good for the other side? Will he sell it to the other ones? I suspect that he will.
We are just crushing it in the most meritocratic environment in the world, U.S. commercial. Okay, so the surveillance stuff, of course, there's the Pollyannish version of it, which is like our product can never be abused. What is true is that we are highly ethical, but don't believe us on that. We are obviously not building a database. We're not. The most absurd one is we've built a database in Israel. We're bringing here. Okay, that is complete nuts. First of all, we were in this country from the very beginning, and second of all, you don't need us to build a database. That's like, I have a ruler.
They don't build a database. They already have it all.
A ruler and a pencil so I can do math. I got a calculator. So it's just, that's like you're selling your people like corn syrup, cornflakes or something. Okay, so you get to...
What was that? That was nonsense. That was a mishmash of madness. He does not know what's going on. He is spying on you all the time.
The big issue, are we building a database that can be used for surveillance? No. Okay, but the more...
He doesn't need the database. He has the surveillance tool.
Subtle version is, if you're legally surveilled, we don't even really work heavily with the FBI or DOJ. Could you put it in our product? Yes. Are our enemies surveilled using data that goes into our product? 100%. And
So our enemies are surveilled. How long until you are the enemy? That's the problem, boss.
Completely support that. The most interesting thing about the lie that we are doing this is not that our product couldn't be abused. Any workable technology that's ever been built has been abused. Electricity has been abused. Gasoline engines have been abused. Okay, but our product is the single hardest product in the world to abuse because every single step that you take is absolutely transparent. So if you want to use our product to abuse human rights, you've created a record of you doing it. I can tell you.
And what does that matter? What goddamn difference does it make a difference? It doesn't. It doesn't matter. CNN's going to report that you abused human rights. Who gives a fuck? Nobody watches fucking CNN. Nobody gives a shit. Politics is based on feelings. His feelings are that it's okay to bomb these boats. The evidence suggests that it's a war crime. And he's telling you he feels in his heart that it is constitutional to bomb those boats. What difference does it make what fucking facts are? politics aren't based on facts, my guy. They're based on feelings. All politics, mine, yours, left, right, center, all of them based on feelings. And if you feel like it's right and constitutional, it is. And the authoritarians will allow you to do it.
And this is the part where you can get into the low trust environment, and you don't have to believe me. The environments that abuse data in this world, mostly SIGINT, meaning from satellites, have never liked our product. And we were the first place to act, we were the first, and to my extent, to my knowledge, only company that said we're not going to work in Russia, we're not going to work in China. And by the way, on the issue everyone would think, because they somehow think I'm like only care about, we were the first company to say we would not build a Muslim database, and we ended contracts in this country with institutions that were essentially there to surveil Muslim Americans.
It's a white nationalism. He's only doing war and data manipulation for the white people. Don't you feel better now? Why are you giving him grief? He's only doing data manipulation and spying for the white people. Why are you so mad? Why are you so upset? I don't know why you're crying.
And the primary reason for these attacks is on the far left, people are like, they do not like us because we stand for meritocracy. We hire and promote independent of all variables.
You don't know what that word
means. We stand
means.
for the rule of law. We stand for competence, and we call out the complete bullshit that there's. Okay, on the far right, they don't like us because they think I'm somehow a Jewish conspiracy. Because 2 of the 4 or 5 co-founders are Jewish. I'm like, okay, great. A lot of Jews are successful. It's not all conspiracy. It is a fact. Those are just the facts.
You mentioned,
and I'm a little bit pissed at the New York Times, honestly, but and the main reason is I believe in your, if you're listening, I believe in your mission. When you write a technically completely illiterate article, you lose a lot of credibility with people who are technical. And that's just a fact. That article about us being a surveillance thing is like where it's all implied what we do. Yeah, but the problem is you lose credibility with anyone who goes on the thing, and that's damaging for our democracy.
let me ask you this.
You're doing the surveillance, but you're not doing it in a database. So if you said they had a surveillance database, you're wrong, technically.
Question, though.
Still doing the
Is
surveillance.
there a red line for you? Meaning, if you saw your software being used in a way that you genuinely believed was unconstitutional or illegal, are there conversations you ever have, back channel or otherwise, where you say, guys, this is not cool. We're not doing this.
There's a term that was unfortunately coined called constructive engagement. First of all, again, we did not sell our product to cigarette manufacturers that wanted to sell their cigarettes to poor black neighborhoods.
Okay, so isn't that a choice? Isn't that a moral choice? Do we want these people making the moral choices? I agree, selling your product to a cigarette company so that they could better market to poor people is crooked and bad and immoral. But what if he isn't moral? Why does our entire future rely on Silicon Valley billionaires and their morality? I'm upset by that. That's a dystopia. I don't get to make choices. We don't get to make choices with how our society moves forward. We have to let the billionaires decide for us. Who elected this guy? I think that it is immoral to sell cigarettes at all. And he thinks so too. But what if you think it is moral? Wouldn't you be upset with him? Why does this guy get to decide the future of the world? And that's what he's doing. He's deciding what is and isn't moral. He's deciding the future of the planet because the government has lost control. The people, the democracy, the people have lost control. The democracy has given up because of money. Capitalism has poisoned our democracy. Capitalism has poisoned our representatives. Capitalism has poisoned our presidency. Capitalism has taken away your ability to decide how the future of the government will work or how the future of the society will work. This guy gets to decide. He gets to decide what's moral and what's not. It's his choice. It's his choice what things you see and what you don't see. It's his choice what is true and what is not true.
Pulled our product from law enforcement institutions that were purely doing profiling. In certain countries in Latin America, racial profiling is just part of how they do credit scores. We could have made a lot of money on that. We refused to do it. We've said no to many countries across the world. We said no to China. We didn't say no, but we didn't work in adversarial countries. So, you know, like we have, like, there's always, have you done this, I think, is the most important. And we did this at points where it was critical and we were in desperate times financially. So we did this when it absolutely could have crushed our country.
Now, are those some nice things that he's describing? Yes, sure. That's what he of course, he's going to sell his company as the best thing ever. Sorry about all the noise. There's a coven meeting happening downstairs. So yeah, it is nice that he's described. What he's describing is good things, but AI is the tool that allows him to rule the world. I don't want AI. I don't think it's a good thing. It's going to let him rule the world. That's why I'm against it, as simply as I can put it. AI is the tool he's using to rule the world. And that makes me unhappy. I don't want him to rule the world.
Our company. So the obvious answer is yes. Then there's the more subtle answer. All these countries and people I defend in public, like Israel's a perfect example. I think most of the critiques of Israel, not all, but a lot of people just have like Israel derangement or Jewish derangement syndrome. It's like they're like hobbyists. It's like they think about Jews all day. It's like, I don't know. I grew up in the Jewish community. How often do you think about Jews? I don't think about Jews very often. So it's like, hey, of course I'm going to defend in a way publicly that I can assure you privately, people have less present conversations than the one we're having. Like I told the Israeli government from the beginning, maximum violence to the people organizing violence, minimal violence to the people on the front end. And I told every single person.
Do you think that they lived up to that? We're going to talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu this afternoon.
You know, I could tell you,
You can't say yes.
feel that if somewhat immodestly, if people listen to me more actively in Germany on migration, on Israel on these issues, and on lots of
on Germany and migration. So he gets to choose how Germany uses his AI product and how they use it within migration. If he wants less migration, then he won't let the AI work a certain way. If they're using AI to bring more migrants in, he will shut it down. He is the arbiter. He is the controller of the entire world now. The people who control AI control everything.
of other things, we'd have a better world, or primarily my Democratic Party. You know, it's like, do we really have to pretend that it's immoral to have a border?
In other words, you don't think that they have done it as well as they should?
Well, put it this way. In a world where...
Is it immoral to have a border? He gets to decide that. You don't get to decide that anymore. That is a moral question. That is a legal question. You don't get to do the answer anymore. He gets to answer for you.
People didn't have so much derangement syndrome, I would be a lot more critical. In this world, I think you have to compare them to what the competence level of any other country, and you say, yeah, these things are very hard and brutal, and watching these things happen is very difficult. But, you know, yeah, it's a very hard world, because in the end, we are in a world where there really aren't high integrity partners on any side of the debate. So the minute you admit that in public that someone is wrong, you're really just serving somebody who has no interest in advancing the debate at all. They have an interest in their party winning. That's not my interest.
If you say someone's wrong, you've shut down all the debate. Well, sometimes people are wrong.
My party is in advance. My version is we advance America as the superior country in the world and we remove a lot of the dysfunction. By
American superiority, white supremacy.
Argument, by persuading people, which I'm notoriously bad at. Palantir, we believe we're notoriously good at being right.
Alex, you founded this company.
That means other people are wrong, boss. Which means you shut down the stuff. He did the thing that he said not to do.
Not at persuading people we're right. We leave that to the New York Times.
You co-founded this company with Peter Thiel. And for a long time, there was a view that Peter, who's been on this stage many times, was the conservative and you were the progressive, and that served the interests actually of the company in a certain way because you were effectively bipartisan. I'm curious how you think now that there's a view that you and Peter are all in with this administration in particular, that if in fact Democrats come to take over the White House in 28 or 32 or whatever it is in the future, that will make it more complicated for the company.
Well, first of all, I don't think that view, like most of these views, makes any sense. I'm an independent. My vote is up for grab. If you are willing to talk about having a closed border and maintaining deterrence, so I don't think that's at all.
If you do exactly what I tell you, I'll vote for you. If you're different on the things that I prefer, then I won't. That makes sense, but you are now in charge of morality. You are now the ruler of the world with your stupid AI machine. And you want what you want, and nobody else gets what they want. That's why I don't like this.
All true. And I'll tell you something else that's true. If the Democrats, my former party or current party, or however you want to look at it, ran someone who agreed with me, even in private, they would win. So, maybe you should...
And now he's promising that they would win. He's promising to use his magical super AI computer to help them win if you agree with him.
Stop winning in the faculty lounge and start winning. We have a saying we're apparently not supposed to say anymore, but we always said we're cold in the streets and hot in the sheets. Democratic Party should think about that one a lot.
That's insane and stupid.
Okay,
let me ask you. Can I ask you a different question?
By the way, let me answer the second derivative of your question.
Yep.
We're not doing at Palantir what's in the best interest. We do in Palantir what we think is right. And,
we do what we think is right. Exactly. The people don't get to choose anymore. You don't get to choose. I don't get to choose. The public at large does not get to choose what's right anymore and then elect the people to put that into law and make it into reality. No. He chooses. They choose.
The funny thing is because, of our ability to build, I guess, the 30th, I think it's like top 20 U.S. companies, something like that. And we're accelerating in year 20, which no one has ever done. A lot of stuff no one else has done. And we are the backbone of U.S. deterrent.
This guy looks like he's
people
coked
assume
up
that
with
we're more. In
hemorrhoids.
fact, we have this problem at Palantir. We have people who join. They're like, they think.
Well, that's where he injected it. That's he boofed the cocaine.
They're joining a normal company. We're not a normal company. We are fighting for what we believe, and we're putting in a product to give the people that agree with us a superior position.
Okay, so I want to ask you this.
The people who agree with us a superior position. The people who agree with us the superior position. And all the things that an AI can bring you. So if you agree with him, and he agrees with you, he will use the AI to make you a superpower. If he doesn't agree with you, you don't get his AI products. You don't get the benefit of his AI spying on your enemies, spying on everybody and telling you exactly who you need to talk to and telling you exactly who you need to market to. If you don't agree with him, he won't use his AI to tell you who's interested in voting for you and who you need to talk to.
Thank you for the follow. I spell this wrong. Thank you for following. I spell this wrong.
You spell this wrong. You just turned a frog gay. I hope you're proud of yourself. I spelled this wrong. You just did it. You did it. You made a frog gay. I'm proud of you. You did it. You can put that on your job applications now, that you are a frog sexuality engineer. You made a frog gay. Congratulations.
Lol.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah. And so, yeah. Every follower counts and helps, and I appreciate it.
And it's a Trump question. You wrote your college thesis on fascism. There's a view.
I was already a
curious where you land.
sexologist. Glad I can add an animal factor into that now.
There you go. Now you got it.
Do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
Of course not. I think that's stupid, honestly. And you know what? Again,
he's an authoritarian surrounded by fascists.
I
you
spelled
can go all
this
day on
wrong.
this stuff. It's honestly idiotic. I grew up half my life in Germany. I spent time with actual fascists. I went and
Why would you do that? That sounds like a bad time.
talked to lots of former Nazis. We have a democratic society, and he won in a landslide.
He won by 2.5%.
See any sign
At
of him
KB
being.
Pon
Look, of
Twitch.
course, I don't agree. it's like, I don't know what the point of these, it's like.
Well, the reason I was asking it was because you did study this was your thesis, and there's a lot of people who have different views about this. I was actually let me ask you a different question, but maybe it's related. The U.S. government has been taking stakes in lots of different technology companies recently.
Okay, sorry. If you want to, with all respect.
That's socialism, but it's communism, honestly. But MAGA communism is a thing. I want to, maybe I should find that. Do you guys want me to do that? Do you guys want me to find Alex Karp's thesis he wrote in college on fascism and see how much of it applies to Donald Trump? That could be a good video. It really could. I could turn that into a YouTube video. Maybe I'll do that if I can find the version of it. I'm not going to search for it right now because I'm already doing this, and we got 20 more minutes on this video, and I keep pausing it to talk, and I won't stop talking.
Respect. I am running the most important tech company in the world. If you want to talk about banalities, about who I support, how I support, why I support it, you can ask them all day. I keep answering the same question, which is, I believe your questions, basically the third derivative of them, is I transfer all my political power to you by being boxed in. The same way the Green Party boxes in.
No. Let me say.
He's telling you not to get boxed in, but to box yourself in. He refuses to get boxed in with the Democrats, but he will totally get boxed in with the Republicans, and that's not boxing in. You see, they agree with him, and so he gives them the vote, and he doesn't agree with the other people, and he won't be boxed in. He's boxing in.
Let me ask you this. So originally, the CIA, do you remember this, was an early investor in QTEL, the venture capital arm, was an early investor in Palantir. This is why I'm asking the question.
Because they're spies.
Because I think there's a lot of people who are looking right now at sort of the industrial policy of the country. The country is taking stakes in businesses that they think are important, national security issues and the like.
But isn't that a classically social democratic view?
Well, maybe it is. But my question to you, it was just going to be, if the White House came to you and said, look, hey, Alex, we really like you. We think you're important to this country. You're a very important part of this. And if we're going to continue to give you these contracts, we want a piece of the action. What you would think of that?
I mean, we'll cross that road when we get there. My understanding.
He doesn't know. He has no idea. That is a step towards socialism, towards communism. I don't like it. I don't think that's a good idea. The government owning parts of companies is not a thing that I want to do. I want the government to help people and work for the American people, but not own the companies. That's insane. I was recommended your YouTube Lashing Out Violent News the American Way. That's how I found your channel. Oh, that's cool. I thought it was really good. I considered sending it to my dad and changed his mind on Trump. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is one of the latest one that I put out, and I was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is people who are in dire trouble go to the White House and ask for money, and they say, we've made terrific business decisions and we want your help. Why wouldn't the American people participate? One of the biggest problems, if you get to, okay, let's just take, what is the big...
Well, okay, what he's describing is crony capitalism, and that's what we've got. That is what America is now. We don't have a government that works for the people, of the people, by the people. No. They work of the companies, for the companies, by the companies. They all own stock. They all give their money. They all get donated by CEOs so that they can pay for their Senate runs and their presidential campaigns, and the money is what runs everything. We are overrun with capitalism. Capitalism is running amok, and this guy isn't going to help. Capitalism is what he's complaining about there. And now the government, which is a capitalist organization, wants to own part of the company. Of course it does. There should be a separate wall. There should be capitalism and government, and they should be two separate entities. But they're like this now. They are just besties right now. Donnie's a famous businessman, and what he wants is more money. And what he does is he gets bribes from other people. Tim Apple was threatened, but with tariffs, and so Tim Apple bribed Donald Trump, and so Donald Trump dropped the tariffs. There's simpatico now. The government is a company, and the company is a government, and this guy's not going to help. This isn't going to make it better. It's going to make it worse.
Biggest problem in this culture. I'll tell you the biggest problem. No one believes the institutions are credible. And why don't they believe and I struggle to believe they're credible too, because these business leaders make completely stupid decisions. And they get bailed out,
Because they're morons.
A year
This
later,
dude's
they're
an
getting huge
actual lizard
bonuses.
person.
What do the
Yeah.
American people get? Nothing. And that's a huge problem.
The business leaders make decisions and the people get nothing. Yeah, that's capitalism you're complaining about there, boss. Capitalism, which you're a part of, which you're reveling in by demanding more money to sell secrets and sell the spying that you're doing.
Like if you make, so I think the real version is like I made a lot of decisions when we began talking, annoying each other 10 years ago. Hopefully I'm annoying you as much as 10 years ago or more.
All kept up on goofballs.
When I made you know this,
Yeah.
every decision Palantir made, FDAs, going public, building products, enterprise, large data sets, going to government, acknowledging American superiority, being pro-meritocracy,
American superiority. Meritocracy for the white dudes.
launching an AI platform, calling into question that AI models would actually be able to perform without orchestration. Every single one, our ontology, every single one of those was viewed as stupid. You know what I actually have grown to appreciate about capitalism? All the people who made the right decisions went broke, are going out of business, or now have to copy us. Microsoft launches.
What? The decisions you make as a capitalist, you don't always know. You're gambling all the time. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you have a bad launch. Maybe you have a mistake. Maybe somebody beats you to the market and then they win and you lose. Sometimes it's just bad luck. You can have a good product, but if you don't get the right advertising campaign in the right way, you might still fail. And he says, my favorite thing about capitalism is the people who made the right decisions failed. Yeah, that can happen. They have bad luck. To be successful, you need hard work and luck. Both. To be successful. But he got lucky. I don't know what he's going on about here, man. I really don't know what he's on about.
Ontology. Everyone wants to do FDEs. Everyone basically copies me and Palantir. That's what I
Because you got lucky.
love about this country. If you want to make your stupid decisions and then you go to the White House and ask for money, you should absorb the full risk of that. And I'll tell you the full risk of that. Somehow your salary should be capped to the point where you make a lot of money for the American people. If I was absorbing the full risk of our stupidity, you were absorbing the full risk of my stupidity by...
And that's what some leftists said back when Obama bailed out the auto companies. We should get that money back with interest, and maybe we have a stake in the company because the company came to the government and asked for help. And he's not wrong there, but he can't recognize that the American government doesn't work for the people anymore. The American government works for those companies. What even does that? He's slurring, hyper, and can't maintain
Eyes
eye
on
contact.
drugs,
Yeah,
or is he just expressive, open-mouth smile?
I think he's on something. I don't know what. I'm not a drug guy. I'm a drunk. I'm sorry. I drink a lot. I just don't do drugs. So I don't know. I don't know what makes you act like this.
putting me on there and knowing all the crazy shit I was going to say, and you were going to have to sit there and listen to it. And you did it. And again, and we're both absorbing the full risk of each other's splendor.
Splendor. That's what he's on. He's on Splendor.
At the moment where I am wrong, I have to pay the price for it. Just like, you're at the top of your game. Whether we want it or not, you're at the top of your game. Everybody wants to talk to you. Okay, sometimes that's annoying. Okay, it's like...
He knows. He's like, what is this guy on?
I was talking to you when, there were other people above you. Now I'm talking to you when no one's above you. Okay, now, it's true. And people think I'm moderately successful now. Okay, so
You're a billionaire.
at Palantir absorb the full risk
I use
of our
Splendor
failure.
in my coffee.
And everyone
Does
else
that
should
make
too.
me a drug addict?
And
Maybe.
I constantly, the critique I get in Wall Street is I'm an arrogant prick. Okay, great. Well, judge me by the accomplishment, the delta between what I've done and my arrogance. That's the definition of arrogance.
Okay, great. I judge you on your giant spying platform.
That makes you addicted to coffee.
I'm addicted to coffee too. I have my very cool mug. You guys want to see my mug? It is. Oops. That's my mug. It's very cool. It is filthy. Look at that. That is very coffee poisoned inside. You never clean it. You never wash. And I never wash it. The little thing here. And do you want to know the secret why serious coffee drinkers have one of these cups? All serious coffee drinkers have one. They have that cup that never gets washed. That
Classic
thing.
old man crusty cup.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got one too.
Yeah. And
Nice jugs. I mean mugs.
do you know why we have this? There's a secret. If you don't know, I'll let you know. I'll let you in on the secret right now. Okay. So every serious coffee drinker has one of these, right? And what happens is we are all cynical. If you have this cup, you're cynical. You know that everything is shit, and you know that the end of the world is any minute now, and you don't have a whole lot of hope. This is the timer. This is what this is. This is the countdown timer. When the end of the world happens, whether it's nuclear war or economic fallout, or Donnie raids everybody with ice and everything's ruined and the economy goes to shit, or it's zombies. Maybe it's zombies. I don't know. Maybe it's mushroom people like in Last of Us. I don't know. Whatever the end of the world is, the supply chains will get cut, and I won't get coffee. So I have a small stock of coffee. I have a stock. It's not a huge stock, but it is a pretty good stock. And when it runs out, I drink the stuff at the front, and then I have the stuff in the back. At the end of the world, when I run out of coffee, I will fill this cup with hot water, slosh it around, and I will have my last cup of coffee, and I will go do something drastic. Every cynical person will who needs their coffee and is addicted to it will have this one final cup. That's what it's for. That's what this is for. So that when the world ends, you splash some hot water in here, you shake it around, you scrape all the residue off the sides, and then you have that one final cup, and you go do something drastic. Maybe it's different for every person. Maybe you become a Mad Max super badass where you drive your car across the wasteland and beat up the bad guys. Maybe you just go on a rampage. I don't know. Depends on, it changes person to person, what you do when you finish your final cup of coffee. Anyway, that was a nice little aside. Let's continue listening to the crazy person that isn't me. I'm a different kind of crazy person, you see.
If you're right a lot, maybe exerting that you're right, going to be right tomorrow is pretty important. And when we're not right, I pay the price every day. Every day. That's why we have this incredibly painful internal structure of flatness. So I can hear how wrong I am all day. And we absorb the risk of that. And I think in this culture, not enough people, again, the only people who pay the price for being
After
wrong
I
in
make
this
mine,
culture.
my drastic move will be to wash the mug.
Oh, okay. Well,
complete fashion.
You're probably not as cynical as I am then.
Are poor people. The rest of us somehow outsource all the times we're wrong and stupid to the whole society. But if you're poor and you're a soldier or you're poor in the ghetto, when you're wrong, you go to prison or you die.
I got a different question.
And no one cares.
I got a different question.
The left cares. The progressives tell the people in charge to stop harming the poor people. Stop doing things that harm them so much. The pointless drug war didn't work. And it's the left who will help these people, not the right. And he's sitting here pissing and moaning because the left also helps the poor people immigrate into the country, and he hates that.
Question for you.
Because he's a white nationalist.
Again, look left and right. The one thing I would say to people in the audience, a lot of you think I'm right. And you know your spouse, your relative, your child, the person at work would be horrified if they knew it. You better speak up, because everyone who thinks I'm ridiculous fascist, they're speaking up. They write.
Yes, we are. I think you're a white nationalist, and I'm speaking up. If you agree with him and you like white nationalism, he's telling you need to speak up too.
About it every day. If you do not speak up, the people who are disagreeing with me or think I'm stupid, I disagree with myself. So you have to speak up, and you cannot.
White nationalists rise up, is what he's saying.
Not blame the far left, far right idiots when they speak up for their views. Do you speak up for your views? Where? Do you tell your colleague? I bet you at the New York Times, a lot of people read that article about us and were ashamed. Did you go to your editor and say, how could you write something that's technically illiterate? The guy might be a fascist, but this is technically illiterate.
Okay, let me ask you a different question.
Did you?
Guy might be a fascist, but this is technically illiterate. That's worse in his mind. That is worse. If you say incorrect things about his database, that's a sin that can never be forgiven. If you call him a fascist, he's like, yeah, probably. Yeah, isn't everybody, he says. But don't you get my database info wrong. Don't you call it a database when it's actually a node. It's insane. Oh, you said IP address instead of MAC address. You are unbearably wrong. But call him a fascist. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Who isn't?
You. Because if I'm the only one speaking up, you're going to get a world of technical illiteracy on the right, on the left, and in the middle.
Alex, help me with this. A lot of people come on this stage or publicly, and I think this goes to the issue you're talking about to this audience, saying speak up. And they come up on a stage,
Bro
or they go
can't
on
literally
television,
look
or they
like a
talk to a
living.
reporter, or whatever it is publicly, and they're timid.
And actually doing
They don't tell you actually what they think.
You're right. He's doing actually all the time while he looks like that.
They've got talking points. They've got plans. All of that.
All stereotypes are based on some sort of truth,
You don't have any of those things. You have been willing to say, I genuinely believe, and I think the audience can see it, what you think. And my question is, A, do you worry about that ever? And B, to the same point, when you see your peers in the business not speaking up on these issues, not talking about not just these issues, but whatever they actually think, do you think we would be in a better world? And can you see a world where people would actually say exactly what they think the way you have?
I don't say exactly what I think.
You don't?
Well, no, that would get awesome.
He puts it behind dog whistles and code.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. But it's very close.
What are we at here?
He wants white men to militarily run the planet with his information. I mean, he can't say that. He's implied it throughout this entire interview. He wants more a war based on his information run by the straight white men of America. That's what he wants, but he can't tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. I avoid the whole personal stuff as much as I can. But first of all, let me give you again the I think a lot of these things are downstream from AI. The people who are not speaking up are making huge mistakes.
He wants to enslave the poor.
You're underestimating your audience. When you're not saying roughly what you think, let's get to a mark that's realistic, 50%, right. 20% of even 20% would be 20 times what's actually happening. What the people in the audience actually perceive is you're lying. Now, they don't know what you're lying about, and therefore they impute you're lying about something you're probably not even...
Impute your lie. Impute. Is that a word? Impute.
Impute.
I guess. I mean, the robot said it, right?
Lying about. And so I have the problem that I blow up things all the time. People quit all the time. People are offended. Family members stop talking to me on occasion.
Because you're a lunatic who's on drugs.
Years until they discover I'm right. And then they are even more ashamed, and it could take another 2 years. It's like, but if you are not, there's really two problems, or two big problems. One, people impute you're lying.
He said it again.
And you're not actually lying,
wait, hang on.
but people assume...
It might be a word. Let's see what it is. Represent something especially undesirable as being done, caused, or possessed by someone attribute? No, I don't think he's using the word properly. Yeah, there's the adjective. Yeah. Finance adjective. What? Refers to the value of a product or process which contributes estimated. Recovering the initial outlay plus imputed interest. He's using the word incorrectly. That's okay. He's on drugs. He's fine.
Someone of your level of intellect does not believe the stupid things you're saying. And the biggest problem is you lose the smartest people outside, and the problem that they underestimate is you lose the smartest people inside. Because when I'm speaking here, everyone at Palantir,
open mouth
current,
smile,
past, and present, knows, hey, he's doing exactly what he does at home.
Right.
So he's telling me the truth when he says, hey, I don't believe this product's going to work, or I am telling you the truth.
Hey, great. Good news, everybody. He's just as crazy in private as he is in public. Yay. That means we can trust him, right?
As far as I believe it. And I have a history of being right. And that's the problem. Now, there's a societal problem, which is that we have all the basically obviously ridiculous people, especially the ones who do not even know that they're ridiculous, because there's like some kind of derangement syndrome that is abrogated their ability to think. They speak up all the time, and they intimidate the rest of us. And that's a big problem for our society, because I'll tell you.
The big problem is that the people tell you what you're thinking, what they're thinking. This guy just said he's trustworthy because he tells you what he's thinking. And the problem with society is that people tell you what they're thinking. He doesn't think you are a human. You're not. You're not as important as him. You're not as valuable as he is. His thoughts and ideas and software is great and revolutionary and going to make everything better. Your opinion is noise, rabble.
But also that he doest say what he actually thinks XD.
Yeah, and he doesn't tell you what he actually thinks because it's much, much worse. He's softening. What I think he meant there was that he is softening his language. He has to downplay the harshest of his ideas so that it's more palatable to normies. That's what he's telling you. And I think that he's a white nationalist and wants that. So he can't say that. So he has to talk about how hard the white people work and how we're being dangerously empathetic towards everyone except for the white people. And we need lots and lots of military power. That's what he's telling you. But he can't say that. He can't say it right out. So he has to couch it. And everybody else who's telling you their opinions is trash. And you should listen to his opinions because they're great.
We are not living in a world in the absence of delivery. If America does not deliver, we will be under the rule that's defined by our adversaries.
The adversaries being China. Either white America rules the world with his technology, or Chinese people will rule the world and we will work for them. That is the lines he's drawn.
This is just a fact.
Let me ask you this, because
That's not a fact. It's a prediction.
Run out of time, and I just want to talk to you about you personally for a moment and what this is all about. We're all watching you talk, I think, very openly about your views. And I want to know where you think it all comes from, where the energy comes from. Your biographer says it comes from your childhood. You grew up dyslexic. You grew up to a Jewish pediatrician was your father. African-American artist was your mother. And I want to know what you think has led to all of this. What's driving you?
It's very hard to know answer these questions.
Because he doesn't think about them.
I mean, my parents are
The
extraordinarily
energy is
talented.
definitely from the drugs.
Yeah, for sure.
And
He's hepped up on goofballs.
to the point where I think most of the issues they confronted were just, everyone says they want to be around extraordinarily smart people, till they're around extraordinarily smart people. And everyone thinks, the interaction with my parents will school you on what the level of aptitude is in the world, and the rest of my family. But I think, for me, people always write about my parents and their background, and the far right hates that I grew up in a Jewish family and defend
What?
Jews.
He's just jibber jabbering. He doesn't know what he's on about.
Disgusting and obvious, vehement attacks, and the far left thinks because of my background I should somehow give up real progressive thought and support ideologies that only hurt the people they claim to support. So I think those ways of thinking don't.
He hates the right because the right hates Jews, and he hates the left. And sorry. The right hates him because he's Jewish, and the left hates him because he doesn't believe their ideology.
Clear a certain level of thought philosophically, and so I tend to find them fairly boring and wish someone else would speak up. The dyslexia thing has been, which I was totally in the closet about, is the formative moment of my life. And it's simply because if you are massively dyslexic, you cannot play a playbook. There is no playbook a dyslexic can master, and therefore we learn to think freely. And so, one definition of dyslexia.
I don't have him because he's Jewish. I hate him because he's a fucking lizard person who wants to download my soul.
Exactly.
Rejected by both sides. A tale as old as time.
That's how you can trust him.
Any of it, lol.
That's how you trust him. That's the only people you can trust, is the people who are in the middle. God.
There are many definitions.
Nonsense.
One definition that I think is a clearing function is you have attenuated relationship to text.
Attenuated.
Meaning a non-dyslexic will read the text and the text will become them, de facto. The more you lead, the more the text becomes you. No dyslexic works that way. And so there are huge disadvantages. Honestly, I would have cut off my arms and legs probably, or at least something to get rid of the dyslexia.
Attenuated is not a word. Again, I don't think he's using those words properly.
But the central advantage is I process in a way that has very little to do with what anyone else thinks. And that has powered a lot, combined with obvious aptitude, and I believe in what we're doing, so we're very aggressive in making it work. I don't know, but where it comes from, but I really believe in the primacy of winning, not for money, which I love the freedom of money.
Primacy of winning.
But because, I do think what people believe will be downstream of what has worked at some point in the future. And
might makes right. If you win, you write the history books and you tell people what you think. Primacy of winning.
I believe in what we're doing.
Let me ask you this, and I want to know whether you think this drives you. You told a story. Your mother passed away from cancer, and you were interviewed.
She did. That's wrong. But
that's wrong?
She didn't pass away. No.
Oh my goodness.
So luckily.
I don't know why that note said that.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope she didn't. I thought you were talking about the jeweler.
Yeah.
Who helped your mother when she had nothing. But I was struck by this. I was struck by a quote where there was a jeweler who helped your mother.
When my parents got divorced, my mom had no money, and there was a very kind family that took her in.
But you said this about life and the jeweler helping your mother, and you said in general people don't help you. And I remember watching you say that, and I thought, is that what's driving this? Meaning this view about...
In general, people don't help you because they have all of their own problems. They have their own economic hellscape to deal with. Every minute you're not making money, you're fucking up in the current economy, and you all have to have a side hustle. This is mine. Thanks for being here. Everybody has to have a side hustle. Everybody has to deliver Uber on the side. Everybody has to drive Uber. Everybody has to deliver food on the side. Everybody has to have two jobs, and you have to have a side hustle, and you have to turn crypto, and you have to go to the illegal, to the now allowed gambling apps that this guy and his AI is going to push so that you can get ahead, so that you can just keep your head above water. That's why nobody helps each other. If we had more free time, if the AI was actually doing what it's supposed to do, which is take all of the menial labor away from people, we could have time to help each other. We wouldn't be in such an economic hellscape. If we got UBI because the guys like Alex Karp gave us UBI because he took away all our jobs with his fancy AI, then we would have time to help each other. We could all be better human beings if we had that time, but we can't right now because we're all fucking machines in this economy that is devouring people and leaving people behind. The economy right now harms people every day. It takes everything from you. It takes your life. It takes your time. It takes your work. It takes everything from you if you don't have enough. And we can't have enough because the economy can never be satiated. This man can never be full. The investors can never be satisfied. The investors run the world now, and they are telling him what they want, and he, being a lunatic, is telling them that he wants white nationalism and American military might. Oh, I think we're almost done here. Well, 5 more minutes. Let's see.
How you think the rest of the world views all of each other, helping each other, or not? That the world is actually not trying to help you.
I do not believe it's accurate to say the world will help you. And my grandfather used to say, be careful who you help, they'll never forgive you. I think the more you want, the true progressive position is obviously help someone to help themselves. And I do believe the negative side of helping people, I mean, there's a positive side of helping people, but the negative side of helping people is you are conveying the idea that they need your help and they need it in perpetuity, which is dehumanizes and takes away agency from them. But I do believe that America and strong individuals, realistic individuals, recognize you are largely on your own. And the more you recognize that, the better we will be as a society and a world. And that's why I'm very skeptical of like all these like, international, whatever.
You live in an economic hellscape. Get used to it. Get your ass to work. Go out there and do your side hustles.
It's all a way of curtailing and constraining the obvious fact that some cultures are superior. We live in the superior culture, a culture that defends our right to argue, defends our right to back that up with arms, defends our right to privacy. So the First, Second, and Fourth Amendment.
He doesn't give a shit about your privacy. He is stealing your privacy to sell it. He is stealing everybody else's privacy to sell it.
Palantir and I are fully aligned with the First, Second, and Fourth Amendment. No one believes the Fourth Amendment, but it's arguably as important as the others. The First Amendment was put first for a reason, and we protect individuals in this country, and our Constitution derives that protection from a higher force, God. It is
oh God, ugh,
different than any other country in the world, and the basis of that is protecting our agency as humans. And why do we have that agency? Because it is somehow magical in an artistic sense, or maybe in a religious sense, it's somehow divine. And
he has no soul. I'm telling you, he doesn't have one. He's a lizard person with no soul. So he says, people don't generally help, and then says that it's good, but he wouldn't be around if someone didn't help his mom. Yeah. This is very typical of people who have nothing, then become famous and or rich and powerful. They get on the other side of the wall. They get on the other side of success. And then when the rest of us are like, hey, can we have some success too? He's like, no, gross. Why would I help you to get success? Nobody helped me except that one time the guy totally did help. And remember that Craig T. Nelson clip on Fox News? And he looked into the camera and said, I was on food stamps and welfare, and nobody helped me. The food stamps and the welfare are the help, boss. He said that. I'll when I make this into a YouTube video, I'll put that in there and edit this part out. But yeah, that's what he said. I was on food stamps and welfare, and nobody helped me. That is the help.
LMAO.
All right, let's finish this up.
That agency is how we help others and how we help ourselves. And if you expect people to do more than that, now some people do. The family, I don't know if I should say their name because I don't want them to get protesters, although I've had a lot of people asking, can they go buy jewelry there, especially people I've made very wealthy, and I'm proud of that. There are people who manage to help at key moments, and those people I have great reverence
editing
for.
Waldo will
and you will
handle
see in your life that there are very few of them. Like I had this advisor.
Future editing Waldo hates me, by the way.
When we transferred into a magnet school at Central, and I got, it's very American, you're already at an elite school, I got an IQ test, and she was like, what are your grades? In any case, she was like, you should have the best grades and she intervened and took care of me, and I revere that. And I hope people at Palantir, like when you come to Palantir is the single most elite educational brand in the world currently. And if you have
educational brand, what the fuck is he talking about? They have schools?
As defined by, it's like being at
the
Harvard
night
or
crew
Yale
always
in the
does
50s.
more
If
work
you are
than
at
the morning
Palantir, you
law.
will have a job immediately, independent of how you did there, which is no other school can claim anymore. And part of the reason people come and stay at Palantir is we actively engage in cultivating minds. One last sentence on this before you go. We cultivate minds by being exceedingly difficult. The minute you are not difficult is a French saying, qui aime bien châtie bien, which basically means if you love greatly, you are exceedingly difficult. Witness all the love I'm giving you. And the New York Times.
I've said that one of the things we try to do at this event every year is to go inside the minds of the most consequential people in the world. Alex Karp, you are one of them, and we have now seen and gone inside your mind.
And I hate it. Thanks. It's awful. I don't like it there. Okay, so let's wrap this up. He wants white nationalism. He wants an American military harming anybody that gets in the way of what's best for us. And he is small-minded in that way. He can't think of a different system.
It smells like lizard skins and slavery.
It sure does. That's a good way to put it. It smells like lizard skins and slavery. It smells bad because he hasn't got enough brain power to think of something beyond, think of something better. He was pissing and moaning, griping and complaining about the Marxism and the leftism, but he doesn't know what it is. He can't wrap his brains around it, around the idea that maybe if we get to a technological level, we can solve people's problems without bombing them. We can't bomb our way into Middle East democracy. We can't. It doesn't work. It's been proven for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You cannot just shoot people until they set up a Western-style democracy. Doesn't work. Doesn't function. Make their lives better. He could be using his AI to not skim. That's the wrong word. He could be using his AI to create efficiencies so that we could take the excess from our production and give it to people who need it. He could be using his AI to make efficiency help the poor, the poorest among us. Give that to somebody who needs it. Instead, he's going to use his AI to make that efficiency go towards firing all the American workers. Any efficiency they find will benefit the top. Any efficiency
he could use his AI to come up with a creative way to fuck off. That'd be useful.
That'd be fun to watch, at least. But they could use all that efficiency, all that time saving to make people's lives better, but they won't. They will use that to make more money. They will use any thing that they skim. And again, skim is kind of the idea. They're going to skim the work. And they're going to cut down. They're going to cut down on the workers so that the people at the top can make more money, so that the investors can get more return. The investors put in money, then they get more out. That's the system that works now. So he's going to use his AI. He's going to sell his AI to stupid people who are going to be able to cut down on the workers and cut and raise their profit. We could be using it to help the people who need it. And that is something he can't abide. That is something he can't comprehend. That is something that he would call socialism, leftism, Marxism, and would not allow it. Because money is the only thing that matters anymore. You don't live in a society of rules or laws. You live in a society of money. For money, by the money, of the money. And the investors are in charge. And he has investors that he must placate, or else they will sue him and get rid of him. That's how companies work, and it's a scam. But that was fun to watch. I appreciate everybody who was here. Thanks for, I spelled this wrong, for coming in. Thanks for following. Any of it, always glad to have you here. Shinsinto, KBP, thanks for coming in. Malachi, thanks for being here. I appreciate everybody's here. If you're on Twitch, if you're watching there, the lovely robot lady will read your stuff out loud. See, she's a lovely robot. If you're on YouTube chat, I still love you, but you don't get a robot. I'm sorry. No robot on YouTube. See, no robot on YouTube. Or no bobots there either. I still love you, and I still see your chats over here on my second screen. So if you are watching and paying attention, hop in, tell me what you're thinking. Go on over to the Discord as well. Discord. There is a Discord where you can go there. You can leave links, and I will look at them, and then we can talk about them. Copy that, and we'll put it into the YouTube chat too. So go on over there, and you can leave links. You can leave funny things. You can leave photos. You can leave, there's an entire chat just for dog photos. So if you have a dog, you can put your photos up there, and you can see all my dogs, and they're all very cute and adorable. You can go there and you can see them, and you can leave pictures of your own. And if you're that kind of person to have cats, you can leave cat photos too. That's just not me. I don't judge you. I'm judging you. Because dogs are superior. But you're not allowed to say that on the internet. The internet will get mad at you for that. Cats are okay. It's just that dogs are better. And you can go onto the YouTube, you can go onto the Discord right there, and you can yell at me.
Dogs greater than cats.
I agree. Thank you. That's why you're here. I'm so glad you're here.
I leave cat pics out of spite.
Shinsudo does it just to annoy me. Yes, it's true. You can, if you want to annoy me, if you want to do spiteful things, you can do so on that Discord right there. There is only one rule on the Discord. Don't annoy me. If you annoy Shinsinto on that Discord, that's fine. I don't care. If you annoy, I spell that wrong on the Discord,
I have
that's
too many
fine.
cats to have a dog.
That is also true.
Cats drool, dogs drool.
KVP's down. He hates both. He's the enlightened centrist in this entire debate. Way to go, KVP. So yeah, if you want to annoy KVP on the Twitch, you can on the
Cats
Discord.
are evolutionary, the perfect killers. They are way too scary to have in a house. They took over Australia.
They are too dangerous. See, there you go. That's also an acceptable stance to have. So yeah, go on over to the Discord. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Leave links to fun stories. If I miss a story, tell me what's going on there. Yeah, leave news links for important things as they happen. Feel free. And then yell at all the other people that are there. And then, yeah, there's the YouTube channel. There's always the YouTube
Can
there.
confirm. I live in fear. Open mouth smile lol.
Of all the cats. Yeah, he's got too many. Now they're scary. So that is it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thanks very much. I will be back a week from tomorrow. I'm going to be gone all week on a business trip, so I will be out of the place. So what I do is I turn all these live streams into YouTube videos. So I take this, I edit it and turn it into a video. I put it on the main channel. So if you missed some of it, you can watch it on the live tab, or you can go to the YouTube video where I edit it and put a little bit of music underneath it and maybe some graphics and stuff like that. When editor Waldo has time, he really does hate me. It's a complicated life that I live. I have many minds, and editor Waldo is always like looking at the live stream Waldo like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? I will be back a week from tomorrow. I'll do a Sunday morning stream, I think, because I'll be busy. I'll be taking my old lady out for her birthday on Saturday. So I'll be busy and won't be able to stream. And then, yeah, I'll be gone on Wednesday. So usually Wednesday nights, Saturday mornings I stream, but this week is goofy. So that is it. That is all. That is enough of me. Honestly, you shouldn't have too much of me. I agree. So that is it. I will talk to everyone on a week from tomorrow, unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag. Goodbye.